How do we put the right message in front of the right people at the right time? That's the big question, and this podcast answers it. Welcome to Freaky Smart Marketing with David Olson. Hey, welcome to another episode of Freaky Smart Marketing. This is episode number 4, and we're still working on our foundation with do you have the right messaging? So on this episode, what we're talking about is your messaging. Is your messaging on target with your audience? Is it consistent with what your audience wants and needs? And so I want to walk you through a couple of exercises here to help you nail down your messaging. Now, if you haven't already got it, go and download the Small Business Growth Method Roadmap, which is free to anyone. Just go to freakysmartmarketing.com/roadmap. Now, first off, the first part of messaging, let's create a unique selling proposition. Now, a unique selling proposition is not a slogan. There's a big difference between the two. A slogan might be something like FedEx, when it absolutely has to be there overnight. That's a slogan. Now, big brands spend millions of dollars on creating these very short, catchy slogans. And the problem is, you don't have a small business owner, you don't have millions of dollars to spend on branding. So you can't get out a message that everyone will hear and they'll just associate with your brand. So you have to create a unique selling proposition, something that tells your audience who you serve, how you serve them, and how you're going to help them get the desired results, and hopefully in a specific time frame. So the 4 elements of an effective, unique selling proposition. Number 1, you have to name your target audience. Number 2, you have to include their big desire or result that they want. And number 3, their big frustration or pay point that they want to avoid. And number 4, if you can, put in a time frame that they can expect results within. So let's go through a series of questions and examples. So number 1, who are you going to help, teach, or coach? This is usually a plural. So you can start this off let's back up for a second. Take out a piece of paper, and then you can write these down as we go over it. If you're driving, just save it and go back to this episode and then take notes when you have a chance. Don't take notes while you're driving. So question number 1. Who are you going to help, teach, or coach? Now this is usually plural. So I'd phrase it like this. Write down, I'm going to teach who? Examples, people who want to lose weight, real estate investors, mommy bloggers. I don't know. Who's your target audience? Question number 2. What is the number 1 big result that they desire most in your niche? So this is what I'd write down. My audience really wants to, and it's usually something that starts with a verb, create a 7-figure home business, naturally treat psoriasis, make $50,000 a month flipping houses. I don't know, whatever your audience really wants to do. Now let's go to question number 3. What is one more big result that they want in this area? So this is what I'd write down. My audience also really wants to earn extra money from home, burn fat without exercising and having to leave the TV, how to make easy money in real estate. Just examples. Okay, question number 4. What's the number 1 big thing that they're most afraid of? So this is what I'd write down. My audience is really scared of, now this is a verb, usually ending in ing, giving up their favorite comfort foods, borrowing money with bad credit, missing quality family time. You get the picture. Now, question number 5. What's one more big thing they're most afraid of? So my audience also is really scared of being overwhelmed by tech decisions or only eating rabbit food, having total chaos in the home. I don't know what it could be, but those are just ideas to get you thinking. So now the last one is last question, question 6. What time frame can you help them get results? So now write this down. You'll start seeing results instantly, immediately, in 30 days, in a single weekend, in a month, in 12 weeks. What's the time frame? So now if I was going to take that, now you have a good starting point that you've working on your unique selling proposition. So here's another example. I'm going to go through this one a little bit faster. So question 1, people you're going to teach. People who want to lose weight for summertime. Number 1 result they want, lose 30 pounds without exercising. Number 2 result they really want, look great in a bathing suit. Number one thing they fear most, giving up their favorite foods. Number 2 thing they fear most, only eating rabbit food. Time frame, 30 days or less. So here's the finished statement. I put all that together and it goes, I coach people who want to lose weight for summer on how to lose 30 pounds without exercising in 30 days or less without giving up their favorite foods. Now that's not a great one. Here's another one. We can use the same example. Another statement, slightly different. I help people who want to lose weight for summer to lose 30 pounds and look great in a bathing suit in 30 days or less without giving up their favorite foods or eating rabbit food the rest of their lives. Now, that unique selling proposition, that addresses those 3 fundamental questions. Who, how you serve them, and their desired result. And it's within about 2 sentences that you can use to tell your audience exactly what it is you do in 2 to 3 sentences or less. That's your unique selling proposition. So go back over this audio. Take notes. Remember those 6 questions. Who are you going to help? What is the number 1 big result that they want? What is another big result that they want also? What's the number 1 big thing that they're most afraid of? What's another big thing they're afraid of? And what's the time frame? And then play around with the wording. Play around with it write various variations of it. Practice with it. Don't just do this in a single night. It might take you several days to do this. Now, how do we turn that into an offer, into a perfect offer? So now let's take our notes from what we just wrote. Now we're going to change it up a little bit. Now I'm going to give you a Mad Libs style kind of worksheet. And all this is found in the Small Business Growth Method under the step 1, the foundation and the messaging. So you can write this down on one line. Right. Number 1, you know how, and in brackets put emotion. It is when, bracket, insert a before state with a question mark. New line, write empathy or empathize in brackets. I've been there, blank, where we hear you, blank, we hear the same to be true, etc. Number 3, this is a new line, a third line, and that's why we created, got involved with, began, then your product name. Then number 4, the 4th line, in brackets put imply ownership or next step, and then write once you have it, or when you've completed, or as a client, as a member, etc. And then the 5th line, you'll achieve the ideal after state. So if I were going to take that little format, and for all the places where there are brackets, so the first line you're going to insert an emotion and a before state. So I would say in this example, you know how stressed out you get when your business isn't getting the leads or sales it needs to keep the doors open? So I'm showing emotion and I'm showing a before state. Second line, I've been there before too. I've experienced the same kind of frustration. So I'm creating empathy and a connection with the market. Now we'll go to the third. And that's why I created the Small Business Growth Method, 3 simple steps to predictable growth for stressed out people just like us. Fourth line, once you've completed the 3 steps of the Small Business Growth Method, now fifth line, you'll have a constant flow of leads, consistent sales, and a thriving business. Now that's what we'd call a perfect offer. Now let me go over it again. So the first line, you know how, insert an emotion. It is when, put in your before state. Second line, show empathy. I've been there before, or we hear you, or we found the same thing to be true. You get the picture. Third line, and that's why I or we created or we got involved with or we began. Give your product name. Fourth line, now imply ownership or what's the next step. Once you have it, when you've completed it as a client, as a member, etc. Now the fifth line, you'll achieve and insert your ideal after state. Now, getting this messaging down is so critical because once you have it right, then when people ask you the question, well, what do you do for work? You have a simple response for them. Like, for instance, in our previous example, I coach people who want to lose weight for summer on how to lose 30 pounds without exercising in 30 days or less without giving up their favorite foods. Now, that was a little wordy. We just did that one on the fly. Or the other one that we did, the perfect offer. You know how stressed out you get when your business isn't getting the leads or sales it needs to keep the doors open? I've been there before too. I've experienced the same kind of frustration. And that's why I created the Small Business Growth Method, 3 simple steps to predictable growth for stressed out people just like us. And once you've completed the 3 steps of the Small Business Growth Method, you'll have a constant flow of leads, consistent sales, and a thriving business. So I can use that anywhere. It's an elevator pitch. It's an offer. It's something that tells people exactly what you do, who you serve, how you serve them, and their desired outcome. And it just works. It clarifies your message and who you are. I like the Story Brand podcast with Donald Miller, and he says, "What is there? It's clarify your message. You confuse, you lose." I mean, that's true. If you confuse the people you're trying to serve, how do they even know what you have is what they want or it's right for them? So this is something that you can play with. These are something you should look at. Spend some time on it. Think about it. Rewind this podcast and listen to it multiple times so you can become clear on your unique selling proposition and making that perfect offer. Hey, well, thank you for joining me for this episode of Freaky Smart Marketing. Once again, go to freakysmartmarketing.com/roadmap and download the Small Business Growth Method, 3 steps to predictable growth roadmap that has all the steps lined out for you for where you can go from point A to point B and have a thriving business, a constant flow of leads, and consistent sales. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to Freaky Smart Marketing today. For all the show notes and resources mentioned in this episode, go to freakysmartmarketing.com/podcast to see the latest episodes. Also, please leave us your feedback on what I can do better. Do you have questions about marketing or sales? Send me your questions and I'll answer them on the show. Hey, we'll see you next episode. Have a great week, my friends.